This cannot happen. Categorically, this can't happen. Chelsea are linked with another top forward. It's been broken on Twitter by a few ITKs. ESPN Brazil have also broken the news that Rodrygo is a top transfer target by Chelsea, and he is strongly considering his future. Now, if you think back to the Club World Cup, the first 6 or 7 games of Xabi Alonso's Real Madrid career, he sat on the bench and did not feature. Do Chelsea need another winger? Is that the priority? There's a lot to get onto. There's a lot to discuss. Also, Anderson from Nottingham Forest. Is he the Lavia replacement who, again, will be out for another 4 to 5 weeks? And I believe it's coming up to nearly 100 games in his Chelsea career. He has missed. Injuries have literally ripped him to smithereens. Top player, but just can't catch a break. Chelsea are currently sitting 3rd in the Premier League and quietly going about their business. Are they in a title race? Are they not in a title race? If Liverpool are 8 points behind Arsenal and Chelsea is 6 points behind Arsenal, are we mathematically saying that Chelsea are in a title race? They've got some tough fixtures coming their way. They do play Arsenal. They do play Barcelona. But they are on actually a 4 or 5 win streak, or 4-1 defeat. I think it's in the last 6 games. They're actually performing quite well. And bearing in mind, they are missing Cole Palmer. If you took Gabriel or Declan Rice out of Arsenal, if you took Erling Haaland out of Manchester City, if you took their best player out, how would they still perform? And bearing in mind, they've had huge defensive injuries this season at centre-back, at left-back, at right-back. Reece James has been one of their fittest players, which is incredible to say, looking at how many injuries he's had in his career. Make sure you go down, drop a like on the stream if you haven't already, on the stream, on the video. That would be greatly appreciated. We are slowly approaching 100,000 subscribers. We're about 70 away from 83,200. So if you're new to the channel and you do like the content, yes, I'm talking to you. If you like the content, go down and hit that subscribe button. Now, before we get into the transfer news, before we speak about Rodrygo and before we speak about Anderson, I want to look at Chelsea here, right? The identical form in their last 5 games to Manchester City. Everyone's giving City huge praise, and grant, they are deserved it. They are deserved of the praise. They've played really well. But City have only scored 2 more goals than this Chelsea team. This Chelsea team are the 2nd highest scoring team in the league. They've got the 3rd highest goal difference in the league as well. And they're only 6 points behind Arsenal. They are 2 points above Chelsea. Look how close it is between 10th and 3rd. 1 win, you're level on points with 3rd. The Premier League this season is as tight as you could ever imagine. Even that, there's 5 points between 13th and 3rd. It's absolutely insane how, congested the top half of the Premier League table is. Now, we look at Chelsea's recent Premier League results. They beat Wolves comfortably. They beat us comfortably. They should have beaten Karabag. They beat Benfica comfortably. Liverpool deserved winners. That Estavo late goal beat Forest. Angers Forest battered Ajax with the young guns. Poor against Sunderland, I must admit, but they then beat Wolves again in the Cup. Now, we will really find out what Chelsea have made of in this run of games. This run of games right here, Burnley away, they should comfortably win. But then they've got Barcelona and Arsenal at home. That is a really tough set of 2 games there. Then they've got Leeds away, Bournemouth away, Atalanta away, who have just hired a new coach. And they've also then got Everton at home. You get into the busy period of December, it gets quite congested as well for them. Cardiff away, Newcastle away, Villa at home, Bournemouth at home, and then we get into the new year. But based on all of this, you look at the amount of injuries they've had this season, the amount of players that have missed games. It's nowhere near the level of it was, but they're still missing Lavia, Colwill, Badiashile, and Cole Palmer. But before that, if you go back to 2 weeks ago, or even, I think it was 2 and a bit weeks ago, they were missing, I think they only had 1 fit centre-back at one point, which is Absolutely extraordinary to look at where they actually are and how well they've done. And I don't think anyone's really given them huge props. I want to speak about some transfer news on Chelsea as well. Now, Indy broke this news and everyone called him a fraud. Everyone was getting onto him. Rodrygo is one of real interest to a lot of Premier League teams. 24 years of age, only started 2 of Real Madrid's first 10 La Liga games. He's only played 255 minutes, which is what? 25 minutes a game he's averaging? Since Xabi Alonso has come in, you can look at the amount of games and the amount of minutes he's played. We'll come back to this in a second, but I do believe Rodrygo will be leaving Real Madrid in the next 6 to 12 months. 11 minutes against Rayo Vallecano, 21 minutes against Liverpool, 11 minutes against Valencia, 18 minutes against Barcelona. Did not play a minute in the game against Juventus in the Champions League. Played 86 against Getafe, got a really good rating of 8. Only 33 minutes for Brazil, 90 for Brazil, 7 against Villarreal, 20 against Almaty, comes on and gets an assist. You know, when you look at this, he's not getting game time whatsoever. Look at that. 8 minutes, 63, 0, 18, 0 against Osasuna on the opening day of the season. Didn't play a single minute in the game in the Club World Cup. He's a guy who has completely fallen out of favour at the Real Madrid hierarchy. Now, if you go back to Indy's report, it says Chelsea are in direct contact with Real Madrid. The subject is Rodrygo. Chelsea willing to do a deal for January or the summer, and that is confirmed. Now, everyone was getting on to Indy and saying, hey, you're not reliable, etc., etc. Well, Indy keeps receipts, and ESPN Brazil, who are very reliable when it comes to Brazilian players, breaking Rodrygo is seriously weighing up an exit from Real Madrid this summer after growing unhappy with his role at the club. Indy then says, oh, look what ESPN are breaking now. Many clubs will target Rodrygo. So, in my opinion, I do believe Rodrygo will be leaving. Now, if you look at Chelsea's forwards, they've got a lot of wingers. From Estavo, Gittins, Garnacho, Cole Palmer can play out there. João Pedro has played out there at times. Neto, I think they've got Gittins. They've got a lot of wingers. This was the team that played in a 3-0 win against Wolves. Now, albeit you are playing bottom of the league, but you still have to go out there and put in a good performance, whoever it is you're playing against. Garnacho starts on the left, go out there and gets 2 assists. The other winger, Neto, scores and gets a goal. For me, the best winger at the football club right now is Estavo. If you had a front three of João Pedro up front, Estavo on the right, Rodrygo on the left, and Cole Palmer in behind, that's a team that a lot of people would be scared of. I'm not going to lie. That's a team that a lot of people will be looking at and going, do you know what? They can challenge. Because a lot of people have questioned their judgment on some transfers before. Lots of people have questioned the hierarchy at the football club. Is it good enough? Is this what Chelsea need? Etc., etc. Now, obviously, we know Lavia did pick up an injury recently for Chelsea. And one player that has been heavily linked to signing Nottingham Forest, Elliot Anderson, in recent weeks, is Chelsea. Now, Chelsea, for me, they've got, I would argue, the best midfield in the Premier League. I'm a massive fan of Enzo Fernandez. I'm a massive fan of Caicedo. Defensively, as a defensive midfielder, I think Caicedo is the best in the league. You had that win a double pivot with someone like Fernandez, who will be pushed more forward for me. You throw in someone like Elliot Anderson. Now, Anderson and Caicedo, imagine this team, right? Imagine the team that played against Wolves had Rodrygo out on the left, João Pedro up front, Cole Palmer in the 10. You could put Caicedo in at right back if you wanted to. You could put Reece James in at right back. You could put Fernandes in a 10, Cole Palmer on the right if you want to. The options Chelsea could have with Anderson and Rodrygo in their team are endless. Now, I stand by it. this Chelsea team that played still needs a world-class centre-back and a world-class goalkeeper. They were heavily linked with Mike Mignan. You look at the centre-back options. I like Fofana and Chalobah. Are they a little bit inconsistent? Yes. Has Fofana had huge injuries in recent years? Yes. I like Gusto and Cucurella, two of the best fullbacks in the league. I really like Reece James. I think him and Timber are the best right-backs in the league. But you could add a huge amount more squad depth to this Chelsea team, and they would be a threat. They would be a huge threat to pretty much any team in Europe if you had Rodrygo and Anderson in this team. Now, Nottingham Forest, coincidentally, have obviously just signed Sean Dyche, who are currently sitting 19th in the league. Now, even then, it's 2 points between 15th and 19th. 3 points between 19th and 14th. Nottingham Forest have just signed Sean Dyche, the new manager. They do have Liverpool coming up next, and they do have a tough run of games. I do fear that they are hugely in a relegation battle. However, Sean Dyche, they've been brought in for one reason, he's to keep them up. If they don't have a good season, don't go into the last stage of the Europa League, I do believe Anderson could be one of their players that they look to sell. You look at their recent form, it's absolutely disastrous, and it's not going to get any easier because they've got Spurs, Wolves, Brighton, and Liverpool in their next 4 Premier League games. So the pressure will rise. When it rises, Chelsea, you know how good they are when it comes to nicking up deals, buying players. You could see an Anderson leave Forest to join Chelsea. The Rodrygo one fascinates me because I still don't know. I don't really know who I think he's going to join. I think Chelsea will be in the mix. Arsenal today have a link to Rafa Leao. Maybe Liverpool could be in the mix. But let me know your thoughts down below. Make sure you drop a like. Make sure you go down and hit that subscribe button. And I will see you next time. Thank you all for watching. I am out.